Alrighty, Travis Wingoodsill, Jasmine comment reply video. So, it's to my hot debate between Joseph Smith, Jewish astronomy, and astrology and astrotheology. Astrology and astrotheology are false because they manipulate human behavior, just like psychology manipulates human behavior. Stanley Smith Stevens, Mormon, after World War II, turned the scientific categorization process of non-dichotomous and dichotomous categorization of the outward appearance of various physical entities on Earth. Categorizing of plants and animal life and geological life as well. Those are outward categorization systems, and it was used so that we now call a tomato, do we call it a fruit now, or no, it's a fruit now instead of a vegetable as it used to be. And it's used for that purpose, to categorize the various types of physical realm realities. And so what Stanley Smith Stevens did was a major oopsie, an anti-science attempt to categorize human behavior. And it can't be done, because human behavioral responses have numerous causations. But psychology purposely bullies people into the category boxes based upon the outward behavior so that they can control behavior as they try to do. That's what they're all about. It's not about categorizing behavior so that they can treat the causation and cure. It's all about bullying people so that they get clients so that they can make money and live off of people's stupidity and being suckers to the scam. Because that's what it is. Psychology is a scam. And you can see how dominant they are in the state of Utah and how it's being pushed to be dominant in the United States. Mostly by progressives these days. And so you can even see in the news lately that psychologists have been sent to the Gazan children. It's the last thing they need. And they've already been brainwashed by the religion of Islam into believing that they're the chosen ones and they can do whatever they want to Israel, but Israel can't touch them. Sound familiar, Mormons? Yeah, you too. And so this needs to be understood when John, the Revelator, gives us actual dates in his book. This is why it's called Revelation. Apocalypse. He's giving us dates for the events of the latter days. Because of Christian blindness due to Constantine, Christians don't see the dates. But apparently, a guy figured out Revelation chapter 12 verses 1 and 2 was not a Mormon, so he didn't make the connection that verse 5 needs to be added to that sign. Oh, you're a Mormon and you didn't know this? Yeah, because you don't study. Look at the footnotes. Joseph Smith translation? What's that? Didn't the church just acquire that from that community of church abomination? God. And so guess what? You do a matching game now. You see you see what the pattern is in Revelation. See the Joseph Smith translation, You see that they move verse 5 to verse 3. Now you go to the Book of Mormon, chapter 1 of 1 Nephi. There it is in verses 8 through 10. That's the sign that it's referring to. Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 5, which the Joseph Smith translation therefore moves to verse 3. It's a date. We know the date. China made t-shirts because of the one guy who figured it out. But I'm the one who figured it out that verse 5 needs to be included. And it was thanks to Monson dying for verse 4 that I was able to figure it out. And so this does not have any connection to do with behavior. This is prophecy of events to occur during the time period that it is talking about. And it's already happened because the date is the 23rd of September 2017, the first year of the latter days. And so it's not Zedekiah, is it? It's a code word. And so, yes, we know exactly who that person is now. And so when we get to 3 Nephi chapter 7, we know exactly what year that's referring to and who Jacob is. So, Jasmine, the heart with a purple square around it of my life. She says, hey Travis, oh no, she went back to the original. She didn't like the new updated greeting. I've been demoted. My broken heart, me and my broken heart. I don't want to hear that one, even though we probably, well, we can stick to Judas Priest for other videos. She says she wants all of the redhead's information. I have no idea who she was. I found her while I was looking for a redhead. So I'm getting better at making PNGs from pictures. And so that's what I did with her head, was turned it into a PNG. And so Jasmine, it's you. Did you not notice? I used her head and then put my Jasmine PNG over the top of her face. It's you, Jasmine. And so you can give me all of her information. There's some stuff that Jasmine needs to provide for me because she's teased it. You can't just tease it. You gotta show me the pictures and the videos. I need to know. Can't just leave me hanging. And so, yeah, the Facebook scandal in 2016. Yep, it made me Pocahontas, and I wanted to be Belle. I fell in love with Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, she's a redhead. And yeah, she's smart and intelligent, but so is Pocahontas. But Belle, with the Beast, it was just an awesome love story, whereas Pocahontas was more of the white men are evil for stealing the natives' land. That seemed to be the message of Pocahontas. So not really something I can bond with her with. Whereas Belle, yeah, I fell in love. She has to come to realize that the Beast has a good heart. Plus, the first wife at our wedding reception, her aunt and uncle sang a duet of that song, Beauty and the Beast, but replaced it with Travis and Stephanie. And guess which one got to be Belle? And guess one was the Beast? And as we were dancing all by ourselves in the center of the cultural hall of the church, she tells me this: I'm the Beast. She felt betrayed by her family. Hilarious. Yep, you gotta be good to your family or they will stab you in the back. Or in my particular case, you gotta conform and comply to your family or they'll stab you in the front, back, side, all over the place. And then get other people to stab you. I don't think he's dead yet. Keep poking him. Dear God. So, yeah, that's why Belle has a tender place in my heart. Did you not want to be a Lamanite, Travis? I am a Lamanite, actually. I can't remember it was a father and son who came to America and met with a native tribe. And as is custom, they were given women to be wedded to. And so I come through that genealogical line. And again, it's not sufficient enough of a DNA to qualify me as a Lamanite. Just like I don't have a sufficient amount of black DNA in me to qualify for reparations. But nonetheless, I do have these genealogical markers in my blood. And so, no, there's no shame involved, Jasmine. This isn't racist. Wanting to love Belle does not make me a racist. No. But I did get that kind of treatment in the singles wards here in Utah. Dear God. When I'd tried to make my move by getting to know a woman, I guess I was supposed to hit on her, tell, sexual jokes or something to impress her and woo her. I guess I failed at that, because obviously I didn't get anybody to marry me. But nonetheless, being a gentleman just doesn't work in the state of Utah on Mormons, Jasmine. And so, these women didn't like me. They didn't want me. And so what they would do is put other women for me to pursue instead. And there were women that I had no interest in. It wasn't because they're Mormon, but still, it was back then. I just had no interest. They had no interest in me, really. We were just being arranged. And that insulted me. That I cannot choose. I have to be arranged. That's insulting. And women should understand this. Especially what's coming for the millennium. And so I'm kind of curious as to what Nelson's going to do now, because the millennium is supposed to begin with conference weekend in April here. But he failed, and the day that shall burn as an oven still hasn't happened yet, and now the nation is purposely delaying the kingdom of the evangelical God until after the November election. And so that hurts the church in getting their kingdom back, as they're trying to pull the stunt that the Danites did for Brigham Young. The Danites were the ones who did all the work, and then Brigham Young gets to claim innocence as he's taking over the church. It wasn't me. even though I lead these guys. This is exactly what the church is doing today. You've got all of these MAGA extremists, Danites, who are doing all the dirty work. As yes, I saw you, Mike Lee. He was hidden for a while. The camera wasn't wanting to show him. And then finally, as it begins, there he was. They showed him twice throughout the whole 2 hours. But nonetheless. But yeah, the church prophets, they sit back, they make their statements. Religious freedom, Jesus. As Mormons are clueless of what that church is actually doing behind the scenes to cause all of the wars around the world and the destruction of America right here in our home. And so, yeah, when it happens, the church is expecting nobody to make the connection, except for me, who's been making the connection all these years. Which is why the church has been trying to hurt me. Mormon Jesus tells us to hurt Travis. And so there are some hilarious hate comments today after posting the previous video. Let me read them for you. As Jasmine doesn't want me to stop doing comment reply hate video or comment hate reply videos. And so yeah, here we have drolls pretending to be somebody they're not, which means they've got mental problems, behavioral problems that needs a psychologist for. 2, Community of Christ have a new president, hands over Kirtland Temple. She's saying this video was somehow incredibly boring and incredibly entertaining, literally seething and molding and then posting it online unironically. Good luck treating your schizophrenia. Schizophrenia doesn't exist. It was made up by the Nazis to accuse the Jews of, to justify torturing them during World War II. And then Russia picked up on that after the war in the 1960s, saying, wow, that's a great idea. Let's do this to our political opponents. They added to it, though, by calling it sluggish schizophrenia. Schizophrenia does not exist. It's not real. If a person is actually hearing voices and seeing things that aren't there, it's because there is a physical brain damage causing it, like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and you need to see a medical doctor, not a psychologist. But this is the abuse that psychologists produce. Right there, drolls, a perfect example of how psychology are evil. And then, it's weird. Did the Joker movie come out on Netflix or some site that most Mormons watch lately? Because this is now the 4th time that a hate comment has said that I'm the Joker in the Heath Ledger Joker. That's the only thing I can figure, is that it is a new thing that people are watching lately. And so then they're going, oh yeah, that's Travis. You're projecting, guys. Beam mode? Yeah, you're illiterate. And so yeah, the Soch Star is the one who's accusing me of this 4th time being Heath Ledger. And it's on the same Community of Christ video. That's a breakout video. And then finally, also on the same video, this is just, oh my God, this is hilarious how stupid he is. Devin Hildebrandt. Anybody, does that ring a bell, the last name? With trolls? So, Devin, singular person, Devin Hildebrandt. Please, Mormons, you gotta stop the hate, because you're busting me up. He even edited it. So listen to this very carefully. If I can stop laughing. We are not illiterate. I read more than you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yep, you owned me. You've proven that you're not illiterate. Oh my God. Oh, dear God, Mormons. Oh my God. And so, in case you really don't know about Jody Hildebrandt, where have you been? She's the psychologist. She's going to prison. Oh my God. Woza. Which I always say that for this because Bad Boys 2. And for those of you who don't watch R-rated movies, Martin Lawrence, and both of them are forced to go in to be examined by a psychologist for policing, which is screwing up the police force big time, as they are mocking the counselors. And so Will Smith's character, he gets to bone his psychologist. Oh, papi. That means daddy, right? Yes. And Martin Lawrence, he's stuck in a group setting with other men crying and saying woosah. And then in his counseling sessions, she's doing the psychological manipulation of telling him he's angry. And he's lying there going, I'm not angry. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Your saying I'm angry is making me angry. Ta-da! Self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Bad Boys gets it. Oh my God. The depths of stupidity know no bounds for Mormons. But yeah, as a kid in grade school, we get a career aptitude test before we graduate from grade school into 7th grade to try to help us take courses in 7th grade that will help us with a career. And it came back that I'm good for nothing. Literally. I'm looking through the whole long list of career options, and nothing is sticking out. That's what the teacher told us to look for, the ones that stick out. That's the ones that we should look into pursuing. You know, like architect, lawyer, doctor, stuff like that. None of them. They're all tiny little stubs, like my hair. and so then another class for the day, which was earlier on. It was like 4th grade with Sam Pika, I believe. She gave us a color test. Whew. And so 4th grade would have been when I turned 10 in March of the school year. And so it was right before puberty for me. And that summer after 10th grade, or after, 10th grade. Yeah, 10th grade. No, 4th grade. 10 years old. Summer of 10 years old. And the test was such that we had those Stanley Smith Stevens questions. 4 questions. Those were the only, or 1 question, 4 answers. We did not have an option to put in other and write it in. We had to answer the question, and there were only 4 answers. That was it. That's all. And so yes, at the end, we were placed into a color category of 4 choices. And so because I couldn't answer the questions, I was forced to put an answer. And so I realized that as a kid, 10 years old, and it was probably 9 still, that all I needed to do was answer the question differently, and I'm another color. And so sure enough, I took it several times, and it mostly kept me in the white and the blue. And so for the most part, white and blue, even mixture white and blue. And the teacher had to say, oh yeah, you can be a mixture too. She was creating upon the thing. But the teacher, I realized later, as I figured out the con of psychology, is that they were using it in the school system for the teacher to control the behavior of the students. And so as a result of this little gameplay, I then got placed at the back of the classroom with the troublemaker students on either side of me. You know, the 2 prisoners between Jesus. The one on my left was a woman, and she was a klepto, and she stole my stuff. And I went to the teacher and said, my stuff is missing. And then she said, go get me the purse of the woman next to you. And so I brought her the purse, and she went through it and found my stuff. And she was my neighbor too. Across the street and 2 houses down from the other neighbor who was in the remedial class with Laura, who was the only Mormon in my school at my grade level. And so yeah, I had a crush on her, and lots of stories about that nightmarish scenario as a young boy entering into puberty and having a crush on a girl that I was too shy and being humiliated in front of her on several occasions as she's laughing and giggling, as little girls do. See, Jasmine, being intelligent is a curse. And so and so yeah, I'm not surprised when I heard that in the 1990s the whole United States was swarmed with psychologists in the grade schools that were now changing the grading system to a pass-fail. And so all you needed to do was attend class and you graduate and you go into the job market with no education. And thus, immediate results were seen as these uneducated kids are now entering into the job market and businesses tank. Because what do? There's nobody qualified to work. And then you got people saying, you have to accept my disability. And all these other psychological manipulation categories that these kids were being placed into, forcing people to be put into jobs when they're not qualified to work. And so yes, it hurts the stocks for these companies. And I saw this in California when California thought that they would impose on businesses a mandate to hire a certain percentage of different types of races in the workplace, because there was the concern that the immigrants from Mexico were not getting into the job market. And so California thought, well, let's force the businesses to hire the immigrants. Well, they're not educated, they're not skilled, and so the businesses can't have a system where they have to have an educational platform for their employees first. Kind of defeats the purpose to have a whole education to how to work the job. Why aren't the grade schools teaching the kids? And so it was a big problem, and lots of businesses went bust because they were getting crushed by uneducated, unskilled labor force being forced to be employed. The need to give education. It is essential, and that's why the situation with blacks in America. Blacks have been purposely held back from education, not just from being slaves, but after slavery was done away with in America, at least in the Constitution, the South kept blacks suppressed by uneducating them. And then there was a scandal of how the SAT tests were questioned differently for blacks than for whites, and so blacks therefore grow up and they're not educated to go into the job market and get these big high-paying jobs so that they can pull themselves out of slavery and break that cycle of financial ruin. And you can't force blacks into the job market. You have to get the education core to the blacks so that they can become equal citizens under the Constitution. And it's a frustrating thing when there are adults who don't have time to wait for an education now because they need the money now. And so it's our economic system is a major problem and needs to be fixed, along with our capitalist system, our financial system. So anyway, Little Mermaid toys for boys? ? Yes. Yes, indeed. How would you play with them? Are you sure you want to know, Jasmine? Because as a Mormon boy, we're not given sex ed. So we have to go with what our peers tell us. Are you sure you want me to go over the nightmarish scenarios that my peers talked about? Dear God. And so no, kissing was as far as it went. And trying on different outfits. But I was before Little Mermaid. I had the Fisher-Price toys. And there was one redhead that, because I was really cringed over Pippi Longstocking, I snapped off her ponytails so that she was a short-haired girl. And so the brunette with the long flowing hair was my favorite. And so yeah, it was me as one of the guy people, Fisher-Price people, and then all of the other females. There's a blonde, there are two blondes, I think, and then the brunette, and then the redhead, and then there was a dark-haired one also. And so I had a variety of girlfriends that were girlfriends, not, well, friend girls, not, and yeah, kissing was involved, as little boys do. But that's about it. They're not anatomically correct. And the body types are giving young girls the wrong impression about their body, and it needs to be more anatomically correct. That argument is just so stupid. Because as a kid, I know very well these are not real people. The whole purpose is to pretend, to role play, to run scenarios, just like doing a movie. And so yes, I would have been watching movies and TV shows. Yeah, that's what I used when playing with little toys. And you also have to remember that I was mostly involved with fashion plates, not too much with the Fisher-Price people. But I'm gonna have to look for her now. I think that's gonna have to be the theme for the thumbnail picture for you, Jasmine. So you got to be careful what you wish for, Jasmine. So and yeah, and my wet dreams too. Kissing. That's as far as I knew. We're not allowed to be given sex ed. So I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And that's the danger. But nonetheless, LOL. We have 4 dogs and a cat. Jasmine was born September 6th. I'm sorry. And James is a Libra. He also has a fascination with horoscopes. If I go by the Dendra 13 zodiac calendar, James is the Virgo and she's the Leo. Yeah, you're a wildcat, aren't you? I like that better that way. I can call him what he calls me. Yeah, I knew there was something going on there. And so here's her question, which is already answered at the beginning. If the constellations help with prophecy, could they not also predict how people are going to act as far as them being individuals born at that time in the zodiac? No. There is no behavioral thing. The prophecies for human behavior of wickedness and righteousness is based upon our being good or bad, our will, our agency. We choose to be good, we choose to be bad. When we choose to be bad, the consequences follow, and thus the prophets are able to warn us and say, hey, if you're going to be bad, this is what's going to happen to you. Sure enough, every single time it happens. If you choose to be good, these are the consequences. You're going to be murdered by those who do bad. Those are the consequences of Good. And so there's no behavioral control by God, the psychological manipulator puppet master. No, there's nothing like that. Oh, Jasmine. Jasmine, Jasmine, Jasmine. So funny. So cute. I'm still waiting. Oh, what's the song? Not Tiny Dancer by Elton John. No, not I Will Survive. What's her... Nope, it's not her. Private Dancer? Yeah. I think that might be it. Yeah, where's my private dancing videos, Jasmine?